Hello and welcome back. Today we are looking at the Zhuge, or as I like to call it, the Z Huge, because this weapon is frigging awesome. And for a Mastery Rank 0 weapon, I would say honestly, get this weapon as soon as you can, and it will probably serve you all the way up to about end game with quite simply 4 mods. All you need on it is Serration, Infected Clip, Stormbringer, and Point Strike. This will bring up your crit, your overall damage, give you corrosive, and with the 35% status chance that this weapon has at base, which you can mod on later as you get a potato or former, etc., etc., you can increase it from there. But with just those 4 mods, that will cover you for everything on the star chart. Like, seriously, this weapon is that bloody good. Now, as always with massive plus sides, there are a few downsides. I'm not sure this is true, but this is just how it feels for me. The flight speed of the arrows seems to be among the slowest. I'm pretty confident they're all pretty similar, if not the same. But honestly, I miss with this weapon more than I do with actual bows. I don't know if that's because it's got a very high recoil animation, especially when you're going full auto. It's also only got a 20 round magazine, which can be seen as a bit of a downside for a full auto weapon, but we have to remember it's a crossbow. We can't have 200 rounds in the bloody thing because, I don't know, realism. Now, this weapon's damage is largely puncture at 75. It has 20 slash and 5 impact on top of it, so that gives you a total of 100 base damage. It has a 20% critical chance, a times 2 crit multiplier, and 35% status chance. This is a very, very viable weapon for a hybrid build. It's also got a neutral riven disposition, so getting a riven for this weapon will be pretty darn good. And it's pretty darn cheap to make. It is available from your Tenno lab in the dojo, so if you are joining the game, do feel free to join a clan as quick as possible, and this weapon will serve you pretty quick. It will cost you 2 Nitane and 2 Argon crystals, which can be a bit annoying to get. For the Argon crystals you will need to go to the Void, and obviously Nitane extract will require some alert hunting. But other than that, it is pretty darn basic to build with cryotic, polymer bundle, and then just obviously credits. Honestly, this weapon has served me pretty darn well. It's not the best endgame weapon. It seems to slow down at about level 100, which is pretty much, well, it's sortie level, so for those doing up to sortie, this weapon is perfect. I personally think it's a great mix for your Lokis. Due to it being silent, you don't have to use hushed invisibility, so it opens up another mod slot for you to use something else. Or if you want to use your somas, you can just use hushed invisibility to remain completely darn stealthy. Now, there is a pretty niche competition for this weapon. It would be other bows, which do hit harder, but they're slower. However, the main competition is obviously Attica. Now, there is still an ongoing debate as to what one is better, Attica or Zhuge. Now, for me personally, Zhuge takes this by storm. Quite simply because Zhuge can actually push beyond level 100. It does slow down a considerable amount, but it can push beyond it. Attica I find difficult to actually push to level 100. This could be because of how I'm modding it, or it could be quite simply the fact that Zhuge has a 35% status chance. So for this you can get your corrosive procs or radiation procs. You can just get a higher level of proc on it. It does have lower damage, as you can see. It also does have a lower critical chance by 5%. However, it's that status chance for me that makes it so much more viable. Generally speaking, they're actually pretty even in terms of overall damage, especially on the EHP scale, because one's got higher flat damage, one doesn't. But the build I'm going for Zhuge is Split Chamber, Serration, Malignant Force, High Voltage, Vital Sense, Infected Clip, Point Strike, and my Riven mod. My Riven mod is, I would say, actually pretty darn lucky. It's got an increase in critical chance, increase in status chance, cold damage. However, it does have negative status duration, which isn't too bothersome for the corrosive procs, but when I do get a cold proc, it's pretty bitchy, although it does last until the next arrow hits, that will then proc cold, so it's quite useful. Anyway, that's me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you pretty darn soon. Ta-ra!